So, welcome to step 6 of the Fulbright Roadmap, a comprehensive 7-step guide to planning, writing, and revising your best Fulbright application. My name is Leah Rogstad, and I am a former Fulbright Spain study grantee. And today we're going to talk about 5 different ways to level up your Fulbright application writing. So maybe you've already have your draft of your personal statement and your statement of grant purpose. And in this process, this is part of that writing and revision cycle that we talk a lot about in the guide. That is a cycle. So it's not linear. You're not just going to write, revise, and done. It's going to be a constant kind of circular process. And one part of revision is looking at actually the structure of your writing and making sure that it's varied and dynamic so it reads in an interesting way that is going to communicate your ideas, firstly, but secondly, also be very compelling because it shows your ability to communicate your ideas in an interesting and dynamic way. So 5 ways that you should look at your writing to decide if there are some structural adjustments that you can make. Number 1, my first tip of all, and probably my favorite way to revise, is always read your writing out loud. This is going to catch tons of grammar errors, but it's also going to catch when maybe something doesn't sound right or you end in a way that isn't clear. So read your writing out loud and, of course, give it to your friends, your professors. If you're working with a university, give it to them and have them read it so that anything that isn't clear and concise is going to be caught. Now, to actually level up your Fulbright writing, these are 5 structural tips that I would recommend. Number 1, you want to see if you are using simple sentences effectively. So simple sentences could be something like, I conducted extensive research on renewable energy sources. That is a very simple sentence that communicates the idea very clearly. Would I want to write the entire application in simple sentences? No. But if there is something that I want to emphasize and I want to make sure that the Fulbright screening committee knows, a simple sentence followed by something with a little bit more of a varied structure will make that sentence stand out and kind of stand on its own. So it's a great way to emphasize a piece of information. Number 2, along with the simple sentences, we obviously have compound sentences, and that's when we're combining 2 independent clauses using maybe like and, but, or, and this is going to provide maybe a bit of contrast and kind of a little bit more of movement in the writing. So I developed a novel method for water purification, and my findings were published in a scientific journal called Blank. This is going to be a lot more interesting than just one simple sentence. So again, number 1, use simple sentences to emphasize something that is you really want the committee to see. Number 2, kind of establishing that cause and effect relationship with compound statements. Number 3 are complex statements. So you might be adding even more information. And this is where I might add kind of imagery or anecdotal details to paint the picture. So maybe I'm talking about studying abroad in Japan, and I could say, oh, I learned a lot about the local culture, but maybe I'm going to describe like specific food or specific cultural practice that changed my opinion. So including kind of those imagery details to create these more complex sentences are going to paint a picture. And then number 4 is parallel structure. So a lot of times we might write out, I went to Spain, and you want to talk about all the different things you did, but you want to make sure that there is a consistency in sentence structure because it makes it a lot more clear to read and just a lot more interesting to read. So here's an example. I have conducted research, published papers, and presented at international conferences, all with the goal of advancing sustainable development. I ensure that that list all includes verbs and not a mixture of nouns and verbs to keep that parallel structure. And last but not least, an introductory phrase or clause. So you want to begin with some kind of introductory phrase at the beginning of your paragraphs. This should be obvious, but just in case, so that the reader knows exactly what you're talking about. So all of this is included in the revision process of this Fulbright Roadmap Guide, and you can actually get the free Fulbright Roadmap checklist below in the link. And then I also have guided writing prompts and a really extensive concrete revision process in this Fulbright Roadmap, and the full guide is also in the link below. I'll see you in the next video where we talk a bit more about revisions in your statements.